you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had. Inshallah, we will begin now. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wa sayyid al-mursaleen. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. Shut the volume. Alhamdulillah, it is so great to have to host this session with everyone. We're going to have a really good time, inshallah, and it's going to be beneficial for all of us. So glad to have so many people on right now. The agenda is going to be very simple here. We have with us Sister Rukayat Yakub. She is a published author. She has written a wonderful story and gotten it published. She's a certified teacher, and she's also a wonderful storyteller. So she's going to walk us through a couple of stories related to Ramadan and ask us to think about what is the message in those stories. But before I say anything else, I'd like to make one small request. If everyone can please go to the link that we shared, www.mcmcnj.org/kidsramadan, and print out for yourselves right now the templates that we have provided. There are some du'as on page 1. There is a craft list that will be helpful when we do our craft activity. And there are also some suggestions for what should be the goals for Ramadan, and then a template for each one of you, one for the first 10 days, one for the second, the middle ashra, the middle 10 days, and one for the last 10 days. So if you could please print those out or ask your parents to print those out right now, because they will come in very handy. As I said, inshallah, we will start off by having Sister Rukayat read a Ramadan story to us. There will be a short break, and then we'll do another story. So there will be 2 Ramadan stories. Then the fun part, the really, really fun part begins, which is Sister Rukayat will lead all of you through a goal setting session for Ramadan. So all of you have to contribute. We've shared some suggestions for what you think your goals should be during Ramadan, but you also provide your goals. And then you can write down your goals on the template provided, put it on the fridge, and inshallah on a daily basis, see how many of these that you're living up to, that you're taking care of. And then when that is done, inshallah, we'll end with a fun session of crafts where Sister Rukayat will walk us through how to make different crafts, and hopefully you will have the supplies with you at that time. They're on the list, on the template, and inshallah that will be the last session. So with that, on behalf of MCMC, the Muslim Center of Middlesex County, I would like to invite Sister Rukayat Yakub to take it away and to start with the story.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me here. So now we're going to start the story. This is the story we're going to read. It's called Leila's Lunchbox. So we're going to read the story first. And while we're reading the story, this is for the children. Parents, please look at the materials list and make sure you have them. It's just simple things. Construction paper, scissors, ruler, pencil. You see the list. If you can get those things ready, because we're going to need them in about half an hour, inshallah. We're going to go ahead and start with the story. So assalamu alaikum, everyone. And I pray everyone's having a wonderful afternoon. And let's go ahead and start. And this is called Leila's Lunchbox, and it's by Reem Faruqi. So I'm going to read each page and I'm going to show you the picture so you can see what's going on, okay? We won't be needing this for a while, said Leila's mother, hanging up Leila's lunchbox. Imagine, I won't be eating lunch for a month, replied Leila with a twirl. I won't have to pack lunch for a month, said her mother with a bigger twirl. So here we go. You should be able to see that. Leila and her mom right there. And there's a lunchbox that they're hanging up because they don't actually need it right now. Okay, I'll put it for a few more moments for you so you can see it. Okay, we go to the next page. The year before, Leila had wanted to fast with her best friends, Hind and Ishra, during Ramadan, but Leila's mother had insisted that she was too small. Remembering that, Leila stopped twirling. She missed her friends. So here's a picture of her with her friends. This is last year. And you probably can guess she now lives somewhere else. This is why she's not with her close friends that she was with last Ramadan. Moving from one continent to another had been hard. So if you look here, you see a map of the world. So you've got over here, you've got where she's based in North America. And here, you've got where she used to live in the Middle East. Moving from one continent to another had been hard. On the map in her atlas, North America and the Middle East were 10 inches apart. But in real life, she was so much farther away. She wished she was only 10 inches away. She wished she was only 10 inches away from Hind and Ishra. She knew the sign on the highway said Peachtree City. You would love to call it home. But she didn't agree with that sign. She still felt like Abu Dhabi was her home. And there's her there. Let's get a picture. Let's go to the next page. The next morning, before sunrise, Leila's mother gently nudged her. Leila, she whispered, Sahri time. Leila chomped on her chocolate chip pancakes, with her eyes closed. Delicious, she said. Come, let's pray now, said her mom. So this is her with her family. You probably experienced this yourself during Sahur time. Some cultures it's called Sahri, some cultures we call it Sahur, where you get together and eat a meal before Fajr prayer. Sahri, Leila snuggled back into bed until her mum woke her up again, this time for school. As she left the house, her mum handed her a note. Leila, please give this note to Mrs. Penworth. Without her lunchbox to carry, her fingers felt extra free and swingy. She felt so light and skipped to the school bus. So there she is walking with some of the kids that go to her school, and she's feeling quite happy. First day of Ramadan. On the school bus, she read her mum's note. Dear Mrs. Penworth, this will be Leila's first time fasting for the month of Ramadan, so it's an exciting time for us. Please excuse Leila from lunch for this special month. Thanks, Mrs. Malik. So I'll just show you the note right there. You can see it up there. Hopefully it's nice and clear. Leila didn't feel so bouncy anymore. What if Mrs. Penworth didn't know about Ramadan? What if she'd never heard of it before? No one else would be fasting with her. She folded the note into a teeny tiny square and hid it in her book bag. This is her on the bus to school. And she put the note away because she's a little bit worried about showing her teacher the notes. Right, let's go to the next page. Leila walked slowly to her class. Her throat felt dry all morning. When lunchtime arrived, she still hadn't given Mrs. Penworth her note. Leila, did you forget your lunch? Asked Mrs. Penworth. Leila opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Samantha volunteered, I'll share my lunch with Leila. Mrs. Penworth shook her head. Thank you for the offer, Samantha, but Leila, please get a sandwich from the cafeteria. So this is her with her classmates just before lunch. And this is the other side there. All right. Leila followed her classmates to the cafeteria. Leila, do you want some of my cream roll? Asked Aunt Anna. So here we've got Anna and Leila together. And as you see, Leila is a little bit conflicted. She is wondering, should I have a little bit of that? Even though she knows she wants to fast, but she's still thinking about it because she loves cream rolls. Leila thought of telling Anna that she was fasting, but she didn't think anyone at Sunnyvale Elementary School knew about Ramadan. No thanks, she started to say. I didn't bring my... Are you sure? Asked Anna, unwrapping the cream roll. Leila watched the cream roll get smaller and smaller, and she didn't feel so sure. Cream rolls were delicious, and they were her favorite. She looked away. Her nose still smelled food. Leila wished she had given Mrs. Penworth the notes. Even Isaiah's bologna sandwich looked tasty, and Leila didn't even like bologna. Her stomach rumbled. Suddenly she had an idea. While everyone was busy eating, she sneaked out of the cafeteria. Her stomach stopped growling. Why, Leila, it's a pleasure to see you. What brings you here at lunchtime? And this is her librarian right here. This is Leila with her librarian. And librarian is really excited to see Leila. So let's see what she says to her. Why, Leila, it's a pleasure to see you. But what brings you here at lunchtime? Asked Mrs. Carmen, the librarian. Leila felt safe among all the books. She opened her mouth, and this time her words tumbled out. Leila told Mrs. Carmen that Mrs. Penworth and her classmates didn't know that she was fasting. She told her how she missed Hind and Ishra. It felt good to tell someone all the words that had been inside her mind all morning, and especially tell her about Ramadan. Mrs. Carmen understood. You must feel special to fast this Ramadan, said the librarian with a smile. So it's nice when you have adults who understand you and give you lovely smiles. Look at that. All right, let's go. I do, said Leila, but why is it so hard to explain? You know what I always do when I can't get my thoughts out? When I get shy about talking? Asked Mrs. Carmen. I write down my thoughts. This is her walking with her in the library and explaining what she does when she gets a bit lost for words. When the words are there, but she doesn't quite know how to put them out, but she writes them down. Leila got to work. She wrote neatly, adding extra loops to her capital L's. She worked so hard her cheeks turned pink. So here's Leila working really hard, writing a note to her teacher to explain what Ramadan means to her. Dear Mrs. Penworth, I didn't forget my lunchbox today. It's Ramadan. My mother finally let me fast. This means I won't be eating lunch for a month. Sincerely, Leila. P.S. I'm Muslim. P.P.S. My mum wrote you a note too. Here it is. P.P.P.S. Here's a poem I wrote about Ramadan. Ramadan is a month Muslims celebrate, a time to count our blessings and appreciate. Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. But wait, that's not all yet. Ramadan is a time for lots of prayer. We help the poor people to show we care. So in the day I won't be eating any food, but hopefully I'll stay in a good mood. So here's the poem she wrote to explain how she felt to her teacher. All right. Leila hurried back to the cafeteria to join her class. Before school was out, she quietly dropped both notes onto Mrs. Penworth's desk. The next morning, Leila swung her fingers as she waited for the school bus. Would Mrs. Penworth like her poem? Leila hoped. Mrs. Penworth wouldn't think she had forgotten her lunchbox again. She slowly climbed each step on the school bus. In class, Mrs. Penworth didn't say anything, so Leila wondered what had happened. At times like this, she wished Hind and Ishra were there with her. They would know what to say. So she's in class right now, and she's just thinking about that note and her mum's note and what her teacher's going to say about Ramadan. At lunchtime, Leila's feet felt heavy. She was sure Mrs. Penworth hadn't seen the notes. Everyone would think she'd forgotten her lunchbox again. As she was leaving class, Mrs. Penworth patted Leila on the back and handed her a message. Mrs. Penworth had made her capital L in Leila's name extra loopy. Dear Leila, I enjoyed your lovely poem about Ramadan. I'm impressed you're fasting. What a special time for you. You and your family must be thrilled. Would you share your poem with the class today after lunch? You could go to the library this month instead of the cafeteria. Mrs. Carmen is excited to see you. Sincerely, Mrs. Penworth. P.S. Mrs. Carmen told me you missed your friends. I hope you keep making new friends in our class. So this is the teacher passing a note to Leila. And then here we have Leila going with her friends. She's going to the library, they're going to the cafeteria. Leila twirled all the way to the library. She couldn't wait to share her Ramadan poem with her class. Later at iftar, she would celebrate this day. So see how happy she is? And this is how happy people feel when they feel understood. So she is really excited. She was worried about what her teacher would think and what her classes would think, but now she knows that people will actually understand, which is really nice. Now she can't wait to share with her friends. Now the rest is just a note from the author to the parents. But so this ends with her just being really happy and really excited. And I'm sure you probably felt like that once, where you haven't quite known how to explain something to someone, but then you've been able to find your voice, and this is what happened in this particular story. So I have a second story to read, and the second one is called Ramadan Moon. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and start. And this one is by Naima B. Roberts. Ramadan, the month of fasting, doesn't begin all at once. It begins with a whisper and a prayer and a wish. As the month of Ramadan approaches, we search the sky for a sign, waiting, anticipating that silver sliver of brightness, that shining white crescent. That is Ramadan moon. So here we have a little girl, her brother, her baby, maybe brother or sister, I'm not sure, and her mum and dad. And what are they doing? Yeah, they're outside and they're trying to glimpse a sight of the new moon, which is something that we could all do this Ramadan, even from our backyards, just looking outside at the right time. All right, let's get to the next page. And when the new moon is seen, what wonderful excitement. The news spreads like wildfire through cities, towns, and villages, across deserts and grassland, into each and every home. And Muslims of every nation, of every age, and every hue will join the celebration of the arrival of the moon. It's here, Ramadan, it's here. The month of mercy has begun. So this is a picture. And this is just showing how you have Muslims all over the world. They look different. They might speak in different languages and have different cultures. We're all united by a love of Allah, and the love of His Messenger, and the love of our gifts like Ramadan. And in mosque after mosque of every shape and size, men, women, and children will stand up to pray. The Imam will recite the verses of the book that was revealed hundreds upon hundreds of years ago. So here we have a mosque somewhere in the world and a whole bunch of people. And I know this year is going to be a bit different for us because we don't get to go to our masjids, but we get to make our homes a place of prayer. And we get to pray together with our parents, inshallah, which can be really amazing. We're going to talk a bit more about that later. Next page. So now we all wake up to eat in the dark before dawn, sleepy mouths for the day ahead, while the silent city sleeps. Then Dad's clear voice rings out, calling us to prayer. So Father recites the adhan, just to call everyone for the prayer. The family bows like one body before the break of day. So here we go. Here's the dad leading the prayer in their family's musalla, that's their prayer area. And there's the mom and the daughter and the son. And the baby's playing, but anyway, they're all enjoying the prayer together. And that's something that Allah has blessed us to do a lot more these days as well. In daylight, we feel hungry, but at sunset, when we eat, it makes us a little thoughtful, a little humble, and very grateful. So I guess missing a meal or two, makes us think, wow, what a blessing it is to have food. And this is the family here enjoying their meal together and showing gratitude to Allah for blessing them with that food. And and each night the moon grows fuller, like ripe tender fruit, shifting on houses. Sorry, shining on houses, filling with laughter, and mosques alive with prayer. Each night they come unfeeling, this seething congregation, to reflect on the words of their Lord in silent celebration. Here we have a little city somewhere in the world where people are enjoying their Ramadan. Like I said earlier, our Ramadan is different from the years of past, but it doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. We can make our home special, make special meals together, pray together, do dhikr together, and we can make it very memorable. During the day, we keep busy with all sorts of good deeds. Our voices flow with the words of God in unplanned harmonies. We look for things to give away, collect money for charity, be kind and caring and polite. Try not to get angry. So what do we see here? Children are getting together some of the toys that they don't play with anymore, looking for nice toys where all the pieces are complete, clean and tidy, but they're going to give it away to other children to enjoy. And that's part of Ramadan. Part of it is sharing with others, giving the things that you don't need to other people to enjoy, and giving the best of what you have. Now the Ramadan moon is round and full, a bright silver medallion, but with a special secret sorrow. We see that half the month is gone. So here you can see the moon here, the full moon. And when the moon is full, you know half of the month has gone by. We watch her as she wanes, losing a sliver each night until we reach the last 10 days, those special days. Those last days tinged with sadness, when we try to share more, pray more, do more, and give more. Oh, let me show you this picture again. Last time I only showed you the moon. This time this is the whole picture here. All right, next page. And we look for the night of power, better than 1,000 nights, that extra special night when we ask for all that we desire, wishes upon wishes, and prayer upon prayer. But then the last 10 days become the last 5. The last 4 nights become the last 3, the last 2, the last 1. These are the brother and sister daydreaming, thinking about what kind of du'as they want, what kind of days they want to see, what kind of world they want to see. And when a new crescent moon is seen and the Eid day is announced, the Muslim world rejoices, for our festival has begun. So we leave a month of blessing for this special day. We celebrate the end of Ramadan. For Eid, there will be haircuts and pretty henna patterns and visitors and brand new clothes that rustle as we walk. And in the morning, there will be the Eid prayer, charity for the poor, family and friends, parties and outings, sweets and treats and more. So here we have a family getting together and enjoying themselves during Ramadan. I'm sorry, on Eid. Pictures clear, hope? Okay. Right. Almost at the end of this book. But all that is tomorrow. Tonight the city sleeps. As I look out at the night sky, my smile is bittersweet. Goodbye, great month of mercy. Hope to see you soon. Please hurry back, my silver friend, my beautiful Ramadan moon. This is the last picture in the book. All right. So those are the 2 stories. And what I'm going to do now is I want to go to, I'm going to talk to you now a little bit about the next part of the program. All right. So I hope everyone can hear me clearly. Hopefully the stories were heard clearly as well. Now, let's think about this. Ramadan is going to be starting very soon, right? And it's going to be a bit different. So if there are any, I guess, of the older children who might want to share some things, you can share on YouTube. You can put some your comments. Now, things tend to be happen in a way that we plan. Not always, but we try to plan for things to make them the best they can be, right? So for this Ramadan, we want to have a great Ramadan. And it's going to be different, and we have to recognize that. But different doesn't mean it can't be fun. It can't be enjoyable. It can't be full of blessings. So let's think, kind of what kind of Ramadan would you like to see? Would you like to spend Ramadan helping your parents with suhoor, for example? If that's too early, maybe helping with iftar. The iftar being the meal you eat when you break your fast, so that everyone can enjoy that together because and you're helping get that together. Are you going to be trying to do all your prayers on time, making sure you do them, and you're actually inviting your other brothers and sisters to pray? Are you going to look through some of your toys and give some of those things to maybe a younger sibling who might actually like that toy? You've kind of outgrown it a bit and maybe be willing to give to them. Just let's think about different things that we could be doing. What are our goals? What kind of Ramadan do we want to see? So I'd like to see if anybody does want to share some of their what they would like to see. I would love to hear from any of you. For me, one of the things, because I'm actually in the room that we use for our prayer at home. So we have a room, we call it the Masalla. This is where we pray together. So I'd like to see us decorate this room and spend lots and lots of time in this room, reading Quran, doing dhikr, reading books to learn more about the Prophet, Islam, reading the Seerah. These are kind of things that I would like to see in our family in this particular room. So think about what are some things you would like to be doing. We have a little list here. We have, praying Taraweeh. And this year, we aren't going to go to the masjid to pray Taraweeh, but we can pray Taraweeh at home. And if you're old enough, you might be able to lead the prayer with your family. Very nice. Get close to Allah. Very good. So what are some ways we get close to Allah? Does anyone know? What things that we can do that helps us get close to Allah? There's one really, really easy way, if anyone can think of it, and it involves following the example of a very special person. So if anybody knows who that is, you can write that person's name in the chat. And because this person was somebody who Allah loved a great deal, and this person loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we follow the example of this particular person, it gets us close to Allah. So I'd love to know if anyone can put the name in there. I'm going to give you a moment to type that in while I type this in. All right. This is Zahra. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum, Zahra. All right. I'd love to read lots of Quran. Yes. Very good. MashaAllah. Very good, Sister Zahra. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you know that one of his names is Habibullah, which means the beloved of Allah? When you're beloved, it means you are loved. And Allah Ta'ala has an immense amount of love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why one of his names is Habibullah, the beloved of Allah. So if we want to get closer to Allah and have Allah love us in that sort of way, we have to try to be like him. How do we get to be like him? We've got to get to know him. So I'm sure some of you at home, your parents have a book called the Shama'il. The Shama'il is a book that goes into the character of the Prophet. It lets you know what kind of person was he. And we know that he was a very patient person. We also know that he was somebody, when he spoke to people, he would give them their full attention. He wouldn't be talking to you and kind of doing something on the side. He gave his full attention to people. He respected people. Sometimes he made jokes, but he always made jokes that were true. He didn't lie when he joked. He was someone who smiled, and when he smiled, it made the whole place look beautiful, because he was a very beautiful person. Was. So get to know more about him. That will help us. Taraweeh, yes, we should do Taraweeh. And I know it might be a little bit late and a bit long, but try your best to do Taraweeh and also say in your family you're reading a section of the Quran each day, try to read that beforehand. So when you're doing your tarawih, you can be thinking about what it means, inshallah. Read Quran, definitely. Yes, yes. Doing the sunnah things that the Prophet ﷺ did and learning the du'as that he did. So we're learning about his character traits, and we're trying to be like him there, but also trying to follow the actions that he did as well. And prayer, very good. We definitely need to be doing our prayers. We have to try extra hard to do our prayers on time. Like, alhamdulillah, a lot of us have adhan clocks in our homes. Once we hear the adhan clock, we should try to get to our prayer rooms. If we have a prayer room in the house, if you don't, suggest it to your mom and dad and say, can we make part of one of the rooms a prayer room? Or can we make a room that we don't use a lot a prayer room? And then decorate it. Put some prayer rugs in there. Put some beautiful artwork in there. With some Arabic calligraphy. Put some nice plants in there if you want. What things that you like that make the place look pretty? Yes, definitely. You definitely want to help your mom. And listen, because you want your mom to enjoy Ramadan too, right? You want to have your mom have enough time to read Quran herself, have enough time and energy to do her prayers as well. So if you're helping, that helps her have a great Ramadan as well. And definitely help your dad. Yeah. Help out with the family. And you're fasting, yes, if you're able to fast, you're old enough to fast, you should be. I know sometimes when we're fasting, it's a little bit difficult because we might be hungry and we might not be as patient. We have to really try. We've got to try our best. We have to keep making dua. Allah Ta'ala, Allah is so kind and so generous. We ask for things, Allah blesses us with those things, inshallah. So make that dua. Say, Ya Allah, help me. I make the intention. What I want to do, my goal is to really help my parents. Help me to be able to do that every day. Help me to behave myself so my parents don't have to spend their time and energy asking me to behave, right? That's another way of helping. Giving charity, yeah. So if you get some extra money, put some of it aside for charity. Controlling anger, oh, definitely. Yes. So who can tell me what's one of the reasons why Allah blessed us with Ramadan? Give me one of the reasons. That's actually, yes, cleaning your room. I love that. Cleaning your room, definitely. What's one of the reasons why Allah Ta'ala blessed us with Ramadan? Why did Allah Ta'ala give us this gift? Because Ramadan is a gift, it's a gift. To be able to have this special month where we focus on our souls and our hearts like this. Because our hearts we need to give life to our hearts. And when we focus on the prayer and fasting and doing all these good things, it brings light into our hearts. So, and it's a gift. Why? Why is that? Can someone tell me one of the reasons why Allah blessed us with Ramadan is mentioned in the Quran. If anyone knows what that is. Maybe someone has told you this before, or you've kind of figured it out yourself. I'm looking to see. To get lots of good deeds, yeah, but there's another reason. I'm going to give you a few seconds to see if anyone can come up with it. If they can't, I'm going to tell you what it is. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to tell you what it is. So has anyone heard the word taqwa before? That's true. Yes, because this is a time that shaitan gets to be locked up. But we still have to work hard because sometimes ourselves decide to be lazy. So we can't say, oh, shaitan, it's shaitan's fault. No, we're being lazy. So we have to work hard ourselves too. Yes, to forgive our sins to get a reward. So the word I was looking for is taqwa. And taqwa means to be aware of God, to really worship Allah as though we see Allah. And we can't see Allah, but we can be aware. Just like when you are in a place, for example, you're in the classroom and your teacher's right there. You're aware your teacher's there. So you're going to behave a certain way because the teacher is there and she's present. So our hearts have to be aware that Allah Ta'ala sees us all the time. So and because of that, we make good choices. The idea is we train ourselves to make good choices. So Allah Ta'ala has given us this month as a time to train ourselves so that we can get used to making good choices, inshallah. To forgive our sins, yes. And also, yes, it is to think about the poor, but really it's to try to train ourselves to be better people so we can treat people better as well. Yes. How they feel, yes. To change our bad habits, very good, mashallah. Taqwa, excellent. Good deeds, make dua. You all are amazing children, mashallah. So I guess your parents are teaching you a lot of great things. You must be learning these wonderful things in the masjid as well. So you have to thank your parents for teaching you, because some kids don't get that. Some children, their parents are either too busy or they don't really know enough to teach them these things. But your parents are teaching you these things, and these are things that you understand. So you have to make sure you make special dua for your parents and for your teachers for them teaching you these things and sharing these things with you. And thank Allah as well that these are things that are in your heart that you understand. This is really good. So does everyone have the goal setting sheets? Were your parents able to print them out that had some ideas of those goals? Let me have a yes or no, please, if you have them in front of you. If you don't, it's not a problem, but just type in yes or no if you have these sheets. This is the printout from the masjid website. Yes, excellent. All right. Okay, good. I got 2 yeses. Okay, great. So the page is right there. Not yet. Okay, good. 3 yeses. No, you don't. Okay, if you don't worry. Just get a piece of paper and a pencil. If you don't have it in front of you, get a piece of paper and a pencil, because everyone needs to have something to be grateful. Very good, mashallah. Do tasbih, mashallah. You all, alhamdulillah, you're awesome children. So if you don't have the paper in front of you, just get a paper and pencil. So does everyone have a paper and pencil? Because we're going to do some brainstorming. You know how when you're in school, before you start writing, you do brainstorming, right? You put your ideas down, you start to think, what are my ideas? So let's do some brainstorming. After you do brainstorming, we can add it to the checklist. But for right now, we're going to brainstorm. Are you ready to brainstorm? If you're ready, just type in yes. If you're ready to do some brainstorming together, just type in yes real quick, and then we will start that together. If you've got your paper, your pencil, and you're ready, okay, I've got 1 person's ready, 2 people are ready, 3 people are ready, 4 people are ready, okay, 5 people, yes. 6 people are ready. All right, when we got 10 people ready, we're gonna start. Anyone else ready? We got 6 people ready, 7 people ready. 8 people ready, great. 2 more people. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Okay, we need 1 more person, then we're gonna start. Excellent, 10 people. All right, let's go. So we've got our piece of paper. So I've got my paper right here as well. My paper, and I have a pencil. Let me grab a pencil. Got my pencil. All right, so what I want you to do now is to think about first of all, let's think, what kind of Ramadan do we want to have? Because when you do brainstorming, you want to have a goal. The goal is where you're trying to get to. Like you're in a race, and you're starting at one point, and you have a finishing point and a start point. The goal is just your ending point. That's where you finish the race. Where you are now is your starting point. So let's see, we have a starting point. I'm going to write this down and show it to you. And then we have an end point, which is our goal. That's the goal. So if you see that, we have our, my handwriting's not very clear here, sorry. We got the starting point, we got the end point. That's our goal. And the key here is, how do we get from where we are now to our goal? How do we get from where we are right now? Let me put now here. Our goal. From get to our now we are now to our goal. And the key is we have to make a plan, okay? We have to have a plan. So one of the plans, we talked about prayer. So let's make that one of our goals. So we really try to do our prayers when? At the end? Do we do it at the end? Do we do it when the prayer time is over? Do we do it whenever we feel like? When do we do our prayers? You can write it on your paper, or you can put it on the computers, either one. First of all, prayers. The second thing that people were talking about as well is charity. Giving something. And I know it's a bit different this year because it's not easy for us to kind of take things and take them out of our homes because of what's going on with the virus. We can't really do that. But we can share more with our siblings, right? With our brothers and sisters. Maybe we've noticed a particular toy or game that they like a lot. We can be a bit more generous and let them have that. Yeah? You can't see the paper? Well, okay, let me write it out neatly so you can see it. I'm going to write it out neatly, okay? You can write yours ideas down, but what I was just putting down is we have a starting point, which is where we are now, right? That's where we start. And then we have the end point, like you're on a race, right? Can you see it now? So you have the start, then we have the end point. Does that make sense? This is Azhar Sheikh. So you have your start and you have your end point, right? And we're trying to get from the start to the end. And the end is our goal. To get there, we have to have a plan to make it to the where we're going. And now we're talking about what is our plan. One of our plans involves prayer. And prayer, somebody answered already, which is Hania. She mentioned praying on time. So that's one of our goals. So what other goals do you think we can make together, we can commit to during this Ramadan? We got 30 days to really practice the skill so we get really good at it and it becomes part of who we are, inshallah. Because when you practice something enough times, it becomes part of who you are. You pray on time enough, it becomes part of who you are. And it's just natural for you to pray on time because you practice it so much. So let's think of something else. What else do we want to do? What other goals do we have that we want to achieve? Do we want to try to help with some of the meals perhaps and chores so that it isn't all on mom? Because I know in some families, mom is doing all the work. Should she be doing all the work? No, we all have to work together. So she has time to read Quran too, right? And she has time to do her prayers too. And she has time to do other things, inshallah. Read Quran a lot, yes. That is an excellent idea. So you have to think, when am I going to read Quran? Am I going to do it in the morning? Am I going to do it after each prayer? Am I going to do it in the afternoon? You have to have a time. That way, when that time comes, you sit down and you do it. And that's how we achieve our goals, by making a plan for it, okay? All right. Oh, I love these. Okay, so you're going to take your sheet. So I have one in front of me. I think you all should have it. And you don't have to do it now, but later on, you're going to write down what your goals are. And then through the month, you're going to check it. Like, okay, one of my goals is to help with Sahur, right? So you think to yourself, okay, did I help do that? If I helped, you might put a check next to it. And maybe one day you didn't help, you might put an X and say, you know what, I have to remember to help next time. Another one, you might have your morning afkar, the dhikr you do in the morning after you wake up to dhikr. Maybe some days you do it, the days you do it, you check it. And that helps you remember. But the days you don't, you might put an little X like, okay, I have to remember to do it next time. So I want you to look at that. And because it's actually almost 4 o'clock, I want us to get into the craft. But do you think you all can work on this later on? And then maybe you could take pictures of it and share it on your website so I can see what you guys did? You think you can do that? Like work on those things? Yes, I love this. Wake up early and cook instead of parents. Yes, if you're old enough to cook, you should do that because that's a great way to help them and make Ramadan easier for them and more enjoyable for them. And you're helping someone because listen, you don't always have to go out of your home to help. You can help right in your home. And helping your parents is a great thing to do. Helping your brothers and sisters is a great thing to do. Helping your family members is a great thing to do. So, mashallah, please use the energy Allah's blessed you with to do that. So, is it okay if you all work on the goals later? And then we go into our craft because I want you to do at least one craft with you before it gets quite late. Can we go to the craft now? And you all work on the goals and then share it with us later?
Yeah, I think that would be the right thing to do right now, inshallah. I think it's wonderful that everyone has the templates, and what they can do is to fill them out, put it on the fridge, and pictures of it.
Yes, please. I want to see the pictures.
Right, and pictures of it and submit it. We'll let them know where they can be submitted. And then during Ramadan, we can have some sort of a small, competition for everyone to say how many.
Sounds nice.
Okay? So inshallah, let's go on to the craft part now.
Okay, so I did have 2 crafts, and we'll see if we can fit them both in. But the first craft is making a lantern. And I actually made one earlier. So this is the one I made earlier. So I'm just going to move this. Actually, you can see it. This is the one I made earlier, but I'm going to show you how I made it. And the thing about this is you can just make 1 or 2 or 3, as many as you like. You can put them on your dresses, you can put them on the mantelpiece, or you can make a whole bunch and make a garland where you have a whole chain of them. You can hang it up in different parts of your house. So it's very simple. So for each one, you need a piece of paper, construction paper. Yep. You need a ruler and a pencil, but this is yellow pencil. Let me just get a regular pencil and a pencil. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you each step, okay? So let me just move this back a tiny bit so I've got enough space to work with. So I'm going to start by taking my piece of paper, and I'm going to mark off an inch. So you see you've got centimeters on one side of your ruler. You've got centimeters here, right? And then you have inches here. We're working with the side that has the inches. I hope that's clear. The side that has the inches. You see it? And we're going to mark off an inch from the top. So here's my piece of paper. I'm holding it landscape. This is landscape. And I'm taking it like my ruler. And you can do it on a desk. I'm just doing it up here so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just marking 1 inch. Okay? And then down here, I'm also marking 1 inch from the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the paper. I'm going to mark an inch from the top. And just do a circle to mark it. And an inch from the bottom. So you can end up with 4 dots on your paper. You might not be able to see my dots, but you should have them. If you don't have them, or I'm going too fast, tell me, and I will slow down a little bit because I want you to catch what I'm doing. So if you need me to slow down, let me know, okay? If you don't have the things ready and you need a few moments, let me know because I can wait a couple of minutes for you if you need me to. If I don't hear anything, I'm going to assume that you're all with me, okay? That's my assumption. All right. So I'm gonna draw a line that goes from this side of the paper all the way to the other side of the paper. That's what I'm gonna do now. So let me draw it and I'll show it to you. All right. So this is it here. You see it? Oh, I should slow down. Okay, I'm gonna slow down. Okay. I'm gonna slow down for you. I'm gonna give you a minute to catch up. All right. So I'm gonna give you a minute to catch up, and then I'm gonna carry on. Yes, I like the suggestions. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the craft now, and I want you to create brainstorming on your piece of paper, your suggestions, and then create a wonderful chart that you put in your fridge. And that way you have it for you to look at to remind you. But for now, let's just get your piece of paper, and let's start with this, inshallah, with the lantern. All right, 45 seconds left. All right, so I have an email here and I'm going to type it here for you. So please, anything we do here, like the goals and your chart and even your lanterns, if you can take pictures and share them at this email, I would love to see them. And I would love for us to share them so other people can see the wonderful work that you are doing and they can be inspired to do something creative to prepare for Ramadan as well. Okay, so I'm going to type the email in here for you, inshallah, so you have it.
It's info@mcmcnj.org.
All right, so it's right there in the chat, and then the Sheikh just mentioned it as well, so you have it down, inshallah. So please,
we'll share it with towards the end. We'll share it with the group.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think it's been about a minute. Can I carry on with the craft now? Let me get a yes or a no. You can put Y or an N if you want. That might be easier. Okay, I've got a yes there. Okay, okay. Let me give another person a chance to give me a yes, and then we'll carry on. Okay, great. I'm seeing more yeses. Okay, awesome. So if you got that, you're just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So we're just going to connect these dots here so we have another inch line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots and draw my line, and I'll show you what I have. All right, so it's just this. It's just it here. This is what you all should have so far. Okay, great. Can I repeat that? All right. Do you need me to explain how I measured it? All I did is I took my ruler. I'm using the inches, okay? Because you know you got centimeters and you have inches. I'm using inches, and I just marked off 1 inch at the top, and I marked off 1 inch at the bottom, and I drew a line because I want this line to be 1 inch wide, and I want this section here to be 1 inch wide as well. So is that clear? This is Tahania. Okay, great. I think she's got that now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a whole bunch of lines here that are an inch apart as well. So to start, I will actually, maybe it might be easier just to use the ruler, the width of the ruler. So you can use the width of the ruler. So you see how I'm holding my ruler against my paper like this, like flush like this. I'm now going to draw a line here. Let me draw it and I'll show it to you. And I'm going to connect the bottom line and the top line together. So do you see that? I connected the bottom and the top line together with that. And I'm going to keep on doing that for the rest of the page. And I'm just making the width of the ruler just to make it a bit easier. You can measure it to make it an inch, or you can use the width of the ruler. Either will work. So here I've got 2 lines now. And I'm just going to keep going until I get to the end of my paper. I'm just drawing the lines, and I'll just show you what I have at the end. You should have the same thing, inshallah, when you finish with your lines. All right, so this is what I have, okay? Does everyone have this? Okay, if you don't have it, it's okay because you can rewind it and go back to it, inshallah, okay? All right, so I'm going to go to the next step now. And also, you can just watch it and then you can just practice it later on, okay? Would that be okay? Kamrul Nasir? Kamrul Nasir? All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it so you can see the lines. Like, if you can see how I'm folding it. So I think you see that. So I just folded it. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines down, going down, and 2 lines up here. So I have about 10 lines. You can have 9 or 10 lines. It's okay. It doesn't make too much of a difference. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to cut along the first line. And you see my first line is this line here. So I'm going to cut along there. I'm going to get my scissors. I have a nice pair of scissors right here. And if you're little, you should have someone older next to you. But I think most of you are quite old or older. So Should be fine. Cut my first line. And I started at the middle where the fold is. You see this fold? I started cutting from where the fold is and I stopped when I got to the line. Don't go to the end of the page, because if you go to the end of the paper, it's not going to work. You got to stop at this line. You see how I stopped? You see that? The way I stopped? I stopped when I got to my line. I stopped my cut. Can everyone see that clearly? All right. And I'm going to repeat that here and 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 here. So let me do the next one so you can see it. I'm just going to cut along the line and stop when I get to my horizontal line. So here I've got my second cut. Is that okay? Is that clear? Second cut's here. I'm going to do the next one now. Then my next one. The next one. Next one. Next one. So see what I'm doing? I'm only going to the line. I'm stopping at the line. You see, each time I'm stopping at the line. I'm cutting, cutting and stopping, cutting, stopping. I'm going to go till I get to my last line. All right, so this is what I have now. When I open it up, you see it looks like this. Can everyone see that? Does everyone have this? If you have this, type in a Y. If you don't have it, just type in an N. This is what you should have. Okay. All right, I know somebody has it, someone doesn't. So if you don't have it, I can wait for a moment for you. If you don't have it, but did you start to cut these little lines? Did you start to cut these ones? Those who said no, did you start cutting these? Okay, great. I can wait, no problem. I'm gonna wait for you. If you don't have them all cut, it's okay. I just want to make sure you started doing the right thing. And it's okay, because if you make a mistake, you can always try it again. That's all right. And that's the thing about art and creativity. You can just keep going. It's not a problem. Okay, great. So you have this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it so the lines, all the lines you drew are in the inside. So you see how I'm folding it like this? Oh. Actually, let's just fold it the other way. Fold it like this. Okay. So now it's looking like a lantern if you look at this now. We can tape it together, or you can stop, you can open it, and you can decorate it. So I have some markers here. I could do some zigzags if I want. I'm doing a few zigzags here. You can decorate. If you want, you can paint it. If you want, you can do like a collage where you cut some other paper. Like, for example, I have this little origami paper. I'll show it to you. I could cut some out and stick it on it as a way of decorating it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use markers. I'm just going to use markers. You can use color pencils. You can use crayons. You can do any shape you like. I'm just doing like a zigzaggy pattern because I like zigzags, as you can probably tell. So I'm just doing my zigzags here just to decorate. If you want, you don't have to decorate it. You can leave it just the way it is because it will still look nice. But I would like to decorate a little bit with this pattern. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just doing my zigzags. And then we're going to close it up. And you can use a stapler if you want. You can use tape if you want. You can use glue. I will use, let me see. I'm actually going to use let me see. I'm going to use a stapler, but I need to put the staples in the stapler. This gives you a moment to catch up while I add staples to my stapler. So I got my stapler here. I'm just going to put some staples in it. And use that. Just a minute. All right, so I've got my stapler ready now. And you can use glue if you want. I think I like the stapler idea. And I'm gonna see, I take this side here and this side here, and I put one over the other. You see that? So it covers it. And then I'm going to staple it. And if you want, if you're younger, you might want a parent to help you with it, or if you can do it, you can do it yourself. Or you can use a glue stick if you want. I do have a glue stick here, so let me do the other one with the glue stick so you can see that. So I'm going to the top part now. I did the bottom part. Now I'm going to glue the top part. You could use tape, whatever you want, really. I'm just going to use a glue stick just to show you how easily you can do that. With the work, you can just email it. Just take a picture and then just email it to the email address we sent, the info@mcmcnj.org. And that way it can be shared on the Masjid website, inshallah. So here we have the base of the lantern. And now I'm actually going to tape it a bit more so that it doesn't come apart. I don't want it to fall apart. All right, tape it all the way across. Okay, so I'm taping it together. And now I have my base. And I'm pressing it down a little bit so it looks more lanterny. And now I'm going to do, now if you notice, you're going to see your pencil marks. And so for the next one you do, when you're folding it, just try to fold in such a way. Wait, I'm sorry. This glue isn't very strong. This glue isn't strong. Okay, I'm going to use a stapler here. All right, I'm going to use my stapler. I have to use my stapler in the middle as well. Okay, so here. All right. So what I did with this one here, as you see, I used some glitter tape. And I like glitter tape because it isn't messy like real glitter. Because when you use real glitter, it's just a mess everywhere. And I know as a mom, I don't like that. Whereas this one, it doesn't make a mess, but it looks just like glitter. If you look at it here, I've got the top part of the lantern and the base, and it just looks just like glitter. And I decorated the handle as well. So I'm just going to take, and I just got this at Walmart. It's very easy. You don't have to go to a special craft store to buy it. And I just put it around the top, just to make it look, you know, shiny and special. And I just tape it. And